Good morning, students. I have come with a new module, Exceptions to the Rule, Agreement without consideration is void. We have learned the essential elements of a valid contract. There, one of the important point we have learned is consideration. Consideration is a must for making a contract valid. Consideration, you know that something in return. So here, there are certain cases, there are certain situations, there are certain transactions where this rule is not applicable. That is why this module is titled Exceptions to the Rule, Agreements without Consideration is Void. Now let us see what are the points. So first, before that, I want to tell you what is the importance of consideration. See, as I have already mentioned, as per Section 25 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, an agreement made without consideration is void. Void contracts, you know that it has no legal validity. Contracts entered into by minors, lunatics, insolvents, psychiatric patients, it has no legal validity. So if a contract is entered in the normal situation without consideration, the contract is void. But let us see what are the exceptions to this rule. So there are 7 points I'm going to explain. So first one is agreements out of natural love and affection. Who will show love and affection to us? It can be our parents, it can be our siblings, it will be a relationship between husband and wife, it will be a relationship between grandparents and grandchildren. Nobody else will show out of natural love and affection. So there also, if a grandparents is gifting you somebody, or parents are gifting you somebody, or a gift between husband and wife. So there also, if without consideration, if that agreement has to be valid, there are certain conditions. So 4 conditions for validity of agreements without consideration. In this case, that means you have to remember that agreements out of natural love and affection between these special relations. So first one is the agreement should be in writing. You know that when they are gifting somebody something, a property, vehicle, their house, anything, that agreement will be in writing. Then it has to be registered. The will is always registered, or the gift deed is always registered. Then it is made on account of natural love and affection. They have no personal interest. Why they want to do is, it has to be out of natural love and affection. Now it is between parties standing in near relation to each other, husband and wife, parents and children, grandparents and grandchildren. Only such transactions, this contract will be valid. Now, second point is promise to compensate a person who has voluntarily done something for the promiser. I always quote the example of my PhD supervisor. So I was not able to do when I was completing my PhD with university scholarship. I was not in a position to compensate my professor when I have completed my PhD. It is not compulsory also to compensate the PhD supervisor, but usually we will give something. So when after I started working, I went and met him with a check. But sir refused, saying that you have to be a good teacher. You don't have to give me anything. So many people I helped them for PhD, and they are all working in some organization or the other. So I was a teacher. I showed you an example. We are doing something for students without expecting anything. So your duty is now to carry on this legacy. That is, now you are in a position, you are a teacher, you are also getting students. So my responsibility, I'm telling you, or my advice to you is that you be a responsible teacher. When your students will approach you for some help, don't expect any monetary help. So this is applicable in the case of voluntary services also. Imagine if my car met with an accident. My ex-student stops his car and he is helping me to get out of that situation. That meaning he is doing something voluntarily. I have not requested. So he cannot expect any returns or consideration for that. Third point is promise to pay time-barred debt. Time-barred debt, you know that check validity in India is 3 months. After 3 months, if you are presenting, the check will be bounced. Similarly, any natural death, 3 years is the time death or the time period. So if anybody is giving an extension, my debt, I will take that 4 years is the validity. It is not correct. Whereas here promise, you have to remember that, but somebody who you have given a debt, but that person was not able to fulfill his word, if it's a check within 3 months or if it's a debt within 3 years. So he's telling that when my financial situation will improve, I will repay that. That meaning there is no extra consideration required for that. Whoever gave the debt, their idea will be, even if they are not able to collect 100%, at least if that person is giving 50%, that is good for him. Because his financial situation, he has become an insolvent, he has become any problem created, health condition, he lost his job, anything, he's not able to repay that. So promise should be, but here also the condition is that the promise should be in writing. It should be signed by the promiser or his agent. Whoever telling that I'm not able to repay, I will repay after the usual time limit. Limitation Act of India is not applicable. So beyond that time limit specified by the Limitation Act of India. So that is 3 months in the case of check and 3 years in the case of a usual debt. So that has to be signed by the promisor or his agent. Then there is an express or implied promise to pay. They are ready, they are showing their willingness either by word spoken or written, or their implied behavior. They are showing their concern about that debt they have to repay, and they're taking every effort to make the payment. Now, fourth point is completed gift. So gift, you have to remember that gift, so many rules and regulations are there in income tax about gift. Gift at the time of birthday is exempted. At the time of marriage is exempted. Gift between relatives is exempted. Gift between people standing in near relation, that meaning same as the out of natural love and affection between husband and wife, our own siblings, parent and children, grandparent and children, all are exempted. But whereas you have to remember that if you're getting a monetary gift, it is not necessary that you are getting from one person. Imagine I am getting a gift of 50,000 from 5 different people in that previous year. So up to 50,000 it will be exempted. But if my gift is 50,001, though I have not received from one person, even if I am receiving from 10 people or 100 people, it will be taxable. So in the case of a complete gift or an offered gift, if they are completing that gift, they are giving any agreement for that, consideration is not required. But the relationship between, or the rules regarding gift you have to follow, that is, gift is between relatives, and wedding gift, birthday gifts are exempted, and monetary gifts up to rupees 50,000 is exempted. Here again you have to remember that it is not necessary that monetary gift you are getting from one person. It can be from any number of people, but they will take the aggregate amount of gift you received in monetary terms. Gift in kind also is exempted. That meaning you can get a gift as a mobile phone or as a laptop, anything like that. Gift in kind is exempted. Now the fifth point is consideration is not required for the creation of agency. You know that creating agency is quite common in business. Principal will be there, agent will be there. Even if a parent is doing a business, the children can be agents. But here you have to remember, consideration is not required for the creation of agency. This rule is generally not followed. Here some cases they will collect, for to get agency they will collect a monetary amount or they will collect a down payment. Whereas some cases, if it's a new product, they want to enter the market, they want to create a market, they want to approach the customers. So more people should work for that. That meaning sometimes the agency will get without paying the down payment also, because it's the need of the hour. They want to somehow capture the market. So here consideration is not required for creation of agency. So that some people will collect, but it is possible without paying the down payment also, or without paying the consideration also. So as per section 185 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, no consideration is required to create an agency. Now the sixth point is remission by the promisee of performance of the promise. So what is remission? As per section 63 of the Indian Contract Act, a creditor can agree to give up a part of his claim, and there need not be no consideration for such an agreement. So remission meaning giving up certain amount. See, for example, my printer has to collect that some amount which they have done before COVID. So here I am not in a position to pay. My printer, I have to pay so much amount, but due to COVID, I was not able to sell the book, or the publisher is not able to sell the books. So he is not able to pay. So what he will do, the printer will think that if you imagine 20,000 rupees he has to collect, printer has to collect. That meaning, even if the publisher is telling rupees 10,000 I am ready to pay, he will agree for the 10,000. At least 50% he can collect. So there, for that agreement, there is no need for any consideration, because both the parties will understand the position due to COVID, and the people they were not getting sales. They were not able to pay the money. So they will accept that. So remission by the promisee of performance of the promise. At least something you're getting. That will be the amount, but that will be the criteria for giving up this amount. Now the last point, 7th point, is agreement to extend time. See, as per section 63 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, an agreement to extend time for performance of the contract need not be supported by consideration. See, when we are talking about the time limit, Limitation Act is there in India. So as per that, any check that's valid only for 3 months, if you are presenting the check after 3 months, it will not be honored by the bank. Similarly, any debt. See, for example, I'm giving a debt to my colleague. That within 3 years, I have to collect that. After 3 years, if I'll all of a sudden, if I'll tell that he has to collect my amount, I have to collect my amount, it will not be valid. Because Limitation Act, 3 years is the time period for collecting the debt. So here we have to remember that, imagine, based on the circumstances, maybe it's COVID, maybe his health condition, maybe he's hospitalized, he lost his job. It can be anything. So I am extending the time, understanding the situation. That meaning there is no consideration required for agreement to extend time. So these are the points where you have to remember that consideration is not required for extend or consideration. An agreement without consideration is void. So 7 points are there which will make this rule exceptions to this rule. So in this case of 7 rules which we have discussed, even without consideration, the agreements are valid. So this is what I want to explain in this module. Happy learning. Thank you.